Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Well, guys, don't forget to go and subscribe to my channel, friends. Because we're gonna look at this Scott Morrison rating poll. Our Prime Minister in Australia. I see the rating of the polls. It shows that Scott Morrison is not fit to be Prime Minister for Australia. Well, look, I've seen the incentives of Scott Morrison's failure over the vaccine rollout and the failure of the booster shots and failure of the rebel tests and all that stuff. It's been a failure for this Prime Minister. So it seems that the opposition leader is catching up to Scott Morrison. So Scott Morrison, when he was handling the pandemic, he was at 60% as a preferred Prime Minister. Look at him now, 38%. He's dropped down by a lot these past times. And Australia does need a new Prime Minister, because Scott Morrison always makes mistakes and just poll rating just falls for this guy. I just think Scott Morrison's not fit to be the Prime Minister of Australia. He's still the preferred Prime Minister, but he's going to have to watch out because he could lose that preferred Prime Minister thing. Because Albanese, this new guy who wants to be the next Prime Minister, might even take the job if he doesn't pull his game in. Well, I want him to be Prime Minister. I do want Albo being Prime Minister, but I don't know if it'll happen, but I hope it does. Yeah, this guy wants to be the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese. If you're a fan of Anthony Albanese in Australia, Anthony Albanese is trying to look now on the government, but the government's been failing to deliver things, and Anthony Albanese is just putting out great policies for the future, and Scott Morrison is just scared of campaigning in Australia's history. So let's look at the latest poll in Sydney of the catch-up. Scott Morrison is at 42% as the preferred Prime Minister in New South Wales. Anthony Albanese is 30% because he came up into New South Wales yesterday. And the rating of the news poll is just showing him he can get New South Wales back on track. Victoria is in lead. So Anthony Albanese is in front. Scott Morrison's at 44% in Victoria. It's huge for Australia. It's not great. So we got 34% between Scott Morrison and his government. 34% in Victoria. They could lose the seats up in that area in Victoria. I reckon he will lose a few seats in Victoria. Anthony Albanese is picking a 36th lead in Victoria as the preferred Prime Minister. Queensland. Scott Morrison used to be around like 60 or somewhere around there. Yeah, but now look at him. He's at 36% as the preferred Prime Minister. But he's in front of Anthony Albanese in Queensland. But I hope Anthony Albanese wins Queensland. Let's go to the preferred of the rest of Australia. Anthony Albanese is not in front there. Scott Morrison's at 37 and Anthony Albanese is at 32. They're in the 30s. Look, it's not looking good for the Prime Minister. Let's go to General. Let's have a look. Of the settings of Scott Morrison's failure on men. Let's see the men who think Scott Morrison can be the Prime Minister. Well, 42% think Scott Morrison is doing good with men. And Anthony Albanese, the next, if he becomes the next Prime Minister, he wants to be the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese is at like 32% in the polls of men. Women. I don't get this. Females. 34% think Scott Morrison is the preferred Prime Minister for female. I don't get that. The polls are wrong about that. 29% think Anthony Albanese is respecting women. No, Anthony Albanese is the right person to respect women. Scott Morrison is just, he failed to deliver a thing for women. on women's safety because there's been sexual assaults in the government. It's wrong. It was just wrong from the government. It was wrong from the Prime Minister. And now Australians are just falling behind Anthony on Scott Morrison because he's been a fool and an idiot because he hasn't handled the pandemic very well. Let's go down to the bottom as for the party areas. Okay, the party nationally, 34% nationally for the coalition. The LLP, 35%, and 11% for the Greens. It's not looking good for the Greens. I don't like the Greens really, but the One Nation 3%, and the Independent 3rd, and the others 6%. Anyway, let's have a look at New South Wales, the rating of New South Wales. Wow, the government's in front in New South Wales. The coalition is the preferred party, is the government. They're the government. The coalition is at 38% in the polls. Guys, friends, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And the LLP is at 36%. Jeez. Let's have a look at Victoria. Oh my goodness, Victoria's looking bad for the coalition. The coalition is at 29% in Victoria and 40% for Labor. Wow, Labor's in front. They're doing well in Victoria. The government needs to get up in Victoria and do something about it to get their polls up. But the government's been a bit of a failure, so I don't know what's happened. And 11% and 1% for the One Nation. It's not looking very good for Victoria in that area, but anyway. Let's have a look at Queensland. Queensland is way behind Victoria. Look, it says the government's failed. But the thing is, Anthony Albanese goes in Queensland and then he campaigns and then it just doesn't show he's in front. I hope he gets in front of Scott Morrison to win Queensland back from the government. Let's have a look at this. Okay. 33%. Oh my goodness. The government's failing through that. Let's have a look at the general polls. Let's have a look at men. Wow. Only just. That's so close between them two. Let's have a look at the females. The government's way down from them. 35% the preferred Prime Minister. I just think Scott Morrison's lost his mind. I just think he's just not right for Australia anymore. He's failed too much, and he's just going to fail even more. The economy. Is that the economy? The economy management. The coalition, 38 and 26% Albanese. I think he could handle the pandemic better. He handled the pandemic more than Scott Morrison. He'd deliver more vaccinations, probably, if he was the government. Now, so guys, this is just the Rating News poll, guys. I'm so disappointed on Scott Morrison. Scott Morrison's just been a bit of a failure. Yeah, he's just not doing great. So this guy's Anthony Albanese, guys. This guy wants to be the next Prime Minister of Australia. But I think if he gets the job, hopefully he'll do better than Scott Morrison did. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then we've got the other guy. The guy just wants the job again and have another term in office. Is this guy, Scott Morrison. Yes, this guy's a failure. Scott Morrison is he's failed to deliver for Australia's future. Scott Morrison, I think Scott Morrison needs to pull his game in a bit and get up in the areas, up in the Queensland area, because he's going to lose a lot of support when it comes to the next election. Come on, Scott. Come on, Scott. Get out there, go campaign, get ready for the election, because I'm ready. I'm ready for you, Scott Morrison. We are ready to take you down at this election, because you're going down, Scott Morrison. Australians believe that Scott Morrison cannot. I hope he loses his job as the Prime Minister, because he's failed to deliver what he's promised. He's promised a lot of things for Australians. I've had enough of this government, and Australians need a Labor government that will take responsibility. That's what I want to see for Australia, not a government that fails. So, guys, please, if you guys enjoyed my politician video, I'll do more politician videos with my friend as well. He works at a company, so if you like that, friends, please don't go and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love. Have a fantastic day.